Alright, so this is going to be a lesson on doing some texture sets. I'm going to texture up this this bottle here. I've already got some textures going on with it, but I'm going to kind of clean them up and go in and kind of try and get rid of certain weird aspects that are not helping it, and kind of make it fit a little bit better, right? So first off, there are a couple of things that I've already done, which is I've already kind of laid out a color scheme for this with Adobe Color. You can go here and get these color patterns. I have adjusted it slightly back and forth. It's more of this right here. This is a Triad 3-piece complementary color set. And I want to try and make it so that this bottle has a nice little kind of potion feel to it. So I've already kind of gotten these lines. These are just simple back and forth patterns, and I've noticed a couple of cleanup areas that need to be addressed, such as right here. These are really easy to miss. They kind of stick all over the place, so I'm going to go back to my base layer that I have here and color that in so that doesn't keep reappearing. There's a few other things. I like to bring these in and fix things repeatedly. This one has a few issues to it. Let's see. Let's nail down exactly where this is at. So this face is right here. So basically this face is a little bit higher than the other one, so I gotta kind of, this is kind of just a, I'm gonna go to my stripe layer where this yellow is, and this process is very, you could say, I mean, it's really just, I have to fix it by hand kind of thing, right? And you just got to kind of take some guess shots at it to work it out. That should be a little bit better. And I want to make sure I nail down anything that hits a seam before I move forward and do like effects and add extra texture stuff. Seams can be difficult like that. Let's see here. I noticed that there is in fact sort of a black line running on these, so let's find that real quick. And that's because of the selection tool I used. And we don't want that. So what we really want is to, let's go to our leather strap layer. And I want to double check that because I'm gonna have to push this potion on up into it. Like if you look up here. Let's see if we can find it. Ah, it's up here. So this is upside down, but we want this to kind of push into there. So technically what I really want here is to grab this color. I'm going to turn off all these extra little things going on here. Oh, I really want this color in here before I do anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my own hand selection just to make this easier. But I want to be outside of the outside of the selections. Not here. This cuts into the actual colors, but I want it to be, so I'm keeping this pretty steady. Oh, undo. Yeah, maybe it'll just be best to do it by hand. But what I want is just like here to here and a little outside of this, all the way down. So I'm outside, so I give myself some space so that I don't miss any of the actual visual assets, because these UV edges don't always catch everything if you try and automate the selection. And I know that's a bit of a pain. But otherwise, you're going to end up with all these little tiny black snafus everywhere. The black background that I have, it's just going to show up everywhere in my model. Alright, so there we go. And now that I have that selected, I can kind of back up and just hit it with a broad stroke, right? Get my color in there. Technically, a better way to do this would be to, let's add to that selection real quick. And let's erase all of that, and let's go to the base layer and add it in the base layer because it's part of that pink still. Because now what I can do is with my leather strap, I can kind of give it its own special layer. And on top of that, I can kind of delete out all this extra stuff that's happening. Like, I don't need any of this either. So I've got like highlight layers and stuff in there. You can see right up here is darker, so I can delete that out, get rid of all that. So now what I should get is, let's go ahead and save, and let's save as, I'm saving my PSD and I'm saving my PSD and I'm saving my source image, right? So I already hit Control S to save, and then I go to JPEG and I'm gonna save this as Potion Color 2, right? And now we can check on this color strip and we can check on the yellow band as well. I should probably layer these. This should be highlight and this is shadow, because that's what they are. See, if I take it away, it gets rid of the shadows, gets rid of the highlights. Oh, I need to get rid of this too, so I made a mistake. So let's save. Let's go ahead and save as. We'll save as our Potion UV work in progress, right? And we can save as, in our source images, the JPEG, right? Under Potion Color 2. Alright? So now, if I go back in here, and I reload and update, there you go. That is much cleaner. And we've got the red kind of running on up to the potion bit there. Looks a lot better. It gives this its own area, but you can still see there's little pieces making some issues here. It's because I haven't done the bottom part, right? And this has a little tiny hole in the top. We're gonna have to just live with that. But you can see there's little tiny pieces of stretch here too. We can get rid of all that. And I need to adjust this one's color just a little bit more. So if I grab this and I look at the face here, it's this little face right here. So this little face is a little higher. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna select my stripe layer. So just get that out of the way real quick. Grab the brush. And what did I say? It was a little bit higher. So we want to cut that down just a little. Oh, deselect. Sorry, I had a selection up. Should cover that one. What else we got? We had little bits and pieces up here, so let's go back to that leather strap layer. And again, our issue is that we got a little piece here, not quite getting everything. So it's probably going to happen on everything. I bet if we were to go back here and take a look at the little straps here. See, they're right there. And would that be seen from over here? Maybe not. But I feel like this one would be, so I'm going to put in a little tiny, just a nice little neutral brown. And I'm going to go ahead and set the color dynamics to have a little bit of hue jitter. That will hopefully cover that. Oh, it's a little too much. A little too much hue jitter. Let's tone that down. I'm really just kind of smoothing out this pixelated edge. I'm going to kind of hide that silliness over there. There we go. Alright, and what else did we have? We had a little swash of color coming in over here. So we need to get rid of that. So I'll go back to my base layer there, color that in. Oops. What's it doing? Doesn't seem quite right. That seems a little darker. Oh, it is, of course, because I still have color dynamics on. Silly me. There we go. Okay. 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 This one had a little something at the base as well. Cover that on up. Let's see. Oh, that's too bright. We can get darker color to cover that one up. Anyway, that should work. So let's take a look at that. So I have a couple of qualms. I really want to add an extra piece in, but we'll get to that in a moment. So now, this is basically like the base mesh that I'm going to work with here. And everything else will just kind of get added on top, right? So I got all sorts of extra pieces in here that I can work with. Here's the leather texture. So I can grab this and kind of do a copy paste. But let's go ahead and take this base UV, we'll save, and then we'll save as, up and over, source images. And let's hope that this is going to get us exactly what we want. Go in here, reload. That's really close right there. It's a little better. It could be a little tighter. Reiterate the process. But otherwise, everything's starting to come together nicely there. Some kind of color swatch under there that I gotta probably deal with. Okay, so now we have this generic bottle kind of thing. And what I can start doing is I can start adding kind of levels of complexity. So if I go to the layer stripe, I can do like a stroke. Ah, look at that. I just revealed that there's some extra stuff in there. So if we want to delete that. Let's go ahead and actually, let's add that stroke in there so we can see that. Now, I don't particularly want a stroke. If I do, I probably want to adjust the size a little bit and adjust the color of it to be a little more interesting. Like maybe 178. I have a color palette here, so 2762. Right, and now maybe a little bit of that, right, to kind of give it some pizzazz. Oops. And For example, on the leather strap here, we could do a shadow drop. It's a little strong. So tighten that up a little bit. Right? You can see it's creating a little edge here, just the size of it. And maybe make it not like, you can make it like a color dodge or a linear dodge, I mean. And the color should probably be, it's a little much. It's a little super pink. Let's go on back. And what about an overlay? Multiply might have been alright. Leave it multiplied. That's going to give us a little rim edge there. And this cap needs something as well, which would be good to have some kind of cork material or something. I think I'm going to try and put some of this in. So copy, we'll see how it looks. Then I'll go look for cork if I need to. Paste, kind of size this up a little bit. Put it here. And let's put some of it here. And put another one here. Alright, so now I've got like the whole thing covered. And I need to go back in. Grab this background piece here. I'm just doing a color select here because now I can take these 3 layers and just sort of delete them to get what I want out of it. I have to get rid of these other pieces as well, but that's not as big of a deal. It's just a lot quicker to kind of grab and select, and then I'll just erase out the rest of this. Bam. Alright. There we go. This will require a double check again to make sure that everything's cleaned up. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Now I can take this layer, and I don't want it to be just straight whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and... I can see. Look at that. See? There's a little piece over there hiding. Piece here too. There we go. It's good to catch all that. Let's flip through some of these and see what we get. Some of these are awful. Some are actually really useful. Kind of like that vivid light. I wonder if I can... I wonder what happens if it's a... Nah, I don't like the multiply. Yeah. Is it too much? Yeah, I think the vivid light has a nice tone to it. So we're getting close. Let's see how this looks. I'm not sure about these edge lines on the stroke lines on this. They might be a little too silly. Oh, the color changed back, it looks like. 178 by 27 by 62. Oops. There we go. There we go. That's better. Alright, let's see how that works. We got a little edge here. Got some different color on things here. So let's go ahead and see how this works for us. We'll save. And we'll save as. See, we're starting to get a nice little thing going on. And that's quite a bit cleaner. I like that. That little cork top looks pretty good, actually. I like that a lot. A couple different variations going on here. All right, and the last aspect here that I want to do is I want to add like a little heart life potion-y kind of thing on here. That's going to be tricky. I'm going to make its own layer, and I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and group these categories. And we'll call this one potion base set or group. And again, if I wanted to kind of get rid of this color, I still have this color down here. Doesn't look good now, not anymore. It's kind of totally different, but it's another kind of potion set. I'd probably want to keep these colors all attached, and I'd have to redo it, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm much happier with the newer potion. I will still need to maybe make some additional tweaks on it. There's a number of different little potion-like looking objects that I'd probably want to make some, add a little bit of extra to it. So it's not just this plain whatever color, and maybe do some bevel effects or something. But for now, I'm just going to get on to the little potion-y bit. So, let's see where this one is. Take a look at our UVs. Alright, so it's this section right here. What's this section? I think that's actually more appropriate. We get the little tips on the side and the front of the jar. So let's do them right there. Okay, so I'm going to go on back. And I'm going to go ahead and make a little layer. And we're going to call this the, I don't know, potion label. Something like that. Now, I kind of wish I had a little more going on with it, to be honest. I wish there was a little more geometry. That is. It's too big. But that's okay. It's okay that it doesn't have it. Maybe the normal maps will help me out with this some. So let's go ahead, and I have my color palette still, and I haven't used those blues yet. I think those blues are going to help sort of set it off. So I'm going to grab that blue. And let's do the lighter shade, 27 by 157 by 204, right? Uh-oh. Two 7 by 157 by 204. Okay, there we go. I'll color in. Ooh, that's a very stark, contrasty blue. I kind of don't mind having another one on the other side too. Oop. Let's take a quick peek and see how that looks. Just to make sure it's placed in the right spot. I like a lot of visual back and forth confirmation on this stuff. A little stretched. And that's going to be an issue because my UVs are themselves a little stretched. See? So if I really want that to sit just right, I'll have to squeeze it a little bit in Photoshop, which is kind of like a weird thing to do. But let's go ahead and make the design, and then I'll go back in. So now, and let's get that darker red to put in there. Ooh, so very, very stark color. Let's go ahead and try and squeeze this just a little bit. We're gonna need a slightly different transform to do that. I know this is sort of taking it all whatever. It's getting a little kind of crazy. I'm gonna try and squeeze just a little bit here and here. All right. As I eyeball this, and we'll go ahead and save as. Let's see what we get out of it. All right. And the hope here is that this slightly oval squeeze will play out a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. It's almost perfectly round there. Well, those blues and reds and yellows makes this look extraordinarily... well, the color palette's very... I would say... it's interesting. It's the blue. The blue adds a definite aspect of now it's very kind of chipper. Not sure if I'd want to keep that blue, to be honest. I think the blue could probably be... Oh... I like that it stands out so much. Obviously, it's a very contrasty color, and that would be very readable. But it's also so incredibly... I don't know, it's very bright. I don't know if I want it to be that bright. Let's see if we can play with some fun little bits or pieces here. Let's try and maybe probably not though. Just playing with some different ideas. Kind of gives it a little bit of a beveled feel. So that plus a stroke might work. If you were to thin that stroke down quite a bit, and lower that opacity. Maybe do a little drop shadow action. Probably not with the shadow. Probably works just fine with everything else. Oh, I see. The bevel kind of fights itself a little bit. See, I kind of want that on a little bit of everything. Like, if I make another layer and call this like a shine layer, I can probably get a number of things going on here with a very soft brush. And we'll make this a screen, something like that. Let's say I grab this color here, right? And then we go in here, grab ourselves a soft round. And we're almost there. Let's go ahead and make this its own selection. So I'm not affecting these other pieces. Oh, that's what I wanted. Thanks. Okay. And that might be too much, actually. Might be a little too much to add that. But let's see what it gives us. Also, it doesn't have to be screen. It can be... we'll leave screen. I think I'm actually going more into the bright, pretty colors. This is actually pink at this point. It's just full-on pink now with a little heart on it. I think it really sells a certain style. So we'll see. Now, I know immediately that's going to have an issue cutting off into this object. Yeah, although you can kind of see it right there, see how it hits. But I'm kind of okay with that. It gives it pretty solid and decent kind of glow. Although I will say that the contours and stuff on the little heart now really pushes that effect. So I probably want to take that down a bit. Calm that opacity. There we go, just a little bit. It comes across really strongly. So does this. Let's grab soft eraser and just gently push back into this. Oops, shine. Just a little bit, right? Alright. There's just a hint of it in there. Alright. And that should just about do it. I'm going to go ahead and save my Potion UV. And I will go back in and save the JPEG and go back in here. That reads a lot better. And I also feel like, just in general, this cosine power needs to be squeezed a fair amount. It's actually quite distracting. to have too much of it. And I'll go in and I'd make like a spec map that makes it so it's not so intense on like the leather and on this probably. But there you go. Just some basic rundown on how to create some textures that'll kind of hopefully make something look a little more potent, stick out. The color palette's a little extreme here, but you get the idea. It really shows off the symbols. It's very readable, and that's what you definitely want it to be readable when characters run around in a game or something. You want to be able to see that and go, okay, that's a health potion, I'm gonna grab that. You know, this is supposed to be up on a shelf kind of thing. So if I duplicate it, move it over to a shelf over here, you know, it's supposed to be this one right here. You know, that's going to be pretty obvious as you're running around in here. You'll be like, oh, I know what that is. All right, so sticks out. Nothing else is textured yet, but, you know. All right, so there you have it.